Hey, this is Molly and welcome back to my YouTube channel as we're going to now take a look of when Saturn and Pluto were conjunct in Libra. And this happened in the early 1980s. It could be that in your chart you even have Jupiter in Libra, where it was in late 1980. But this exact conjunction was in 1982, specifically November 1982. And the energies, of course, lasted over a period of time. So if you have Saturn in Libra, it may be working with Jupiter in Libra, or it may be conjunct or nearly conjunct this Pluto in Libra. So the time span is roughly 1980 into 1983. And that's when these strong Libra energies were present. As always, you want to check your natal chart to see what is happening for you, specifically which house this energy is working with in your life. So Saturn conjunct Pluto in Libra is a very intense energy around relationships. And this energy signature is going to be with you throughout your whole life. And it really signifies that there's karma in relationships that you are transforming and transmuting in this lifetime. So Saturn is the energy of the father and karma, timing, what you have to work on and put energy towards. Pluto is the energy of power dynamics, control, anything that is of a lower vibration that you're here to transmute into a higher expression through the Libra energies of sharing, cooperation, collaboration. This Pluto energy is very intense. And it drives you. It shows you something underneath your inner world, your emotional world. It's like what's below the surface, this undercurrent that's very powerful. And with the two of these together, your soul chose to come in to have some big relationship experiences to raise your awareness and help you see more about relationships that are healthy and unhealthy. And so it could be that early on in your life, you observed your parents' relationship in a certain way. And this conjunction happened for everybody in November 1982, but you carry it if it's this, especially if it's conjunct in your chart, but you carry this energy throughout your whole life, meaning that what you observed in relationships, especially through your parents, the power dynamics, trust levels, collaboration, whether they were equals or not equals, that really left a big imprint and is essentially a catalyst for your soul growth in this lifetime. Now, if your parents got divorced or if things got really ugly between them, then that would, of course, make a big imprint on your childhood and on yourself. But there could have been other things going on below the surface that you weren't aware of as a child. And so you came in with this heavy energy as a catalyst for your growth. And chances are it shows up first as unhealthy relationship dynamics. This Pluto, we'll just go into the lower vibrations. Pluto can be very suspicious. It can expect betrayal in relationships. It can be on the alert for what am I being told? Is it the truth? Is this person trustworthy? Big trust issues here. You even perhaps came in with experiencing certain levels of betrayal. Certain areas of your life maybe felt manipulated. There could have always been these control dynamics or power issues present for you in relationships, whether you've been aware of it or not. So the main theme here is that you are unraveling and removing unhealthy relationship dynamics that could be very unconscious. And maybe you thought this is just how things work. This is just how relationships happen. But you're meant to grow from it, but it's growth through work, putting in the work and having experiences with other people that show you and give you that actual experience of Is this healthy or not? Do I feel safe? Do I feel balanced? Is this an individual that is really good for me and good for my heart? Are they giving and are they receiving as I am giving, as I am receiving? So you're looking at the energetic balance in sharing and how the healthy expressions of that are not about power or control. So in your chart, you're looking at the house placement of this dynamic, and you're also looking then at the ruler of Libra in your chart, and the ruler is Venus. So then you would find Venus in your natal chart, in which case she's right here in Scorpio. And that is where you follow the energy thread. You follow more of the specifics around how you need to feel in relationships, what you're looking for. Venus is strongly related to our love language, how you feel confident, how you feel worthy, how you feel seen. And again, this often shows up because we're unconscious and unaware of the patterns, and we're unaware of the energies we're carrying. It can show up through unhealthy experiences first, where things are tumultuous, where there's a lot of, maybe you're feeling like, is this person lying to me? Are they cheating on me? Are they betraying me? Is this something that I want long term? It brings up a lot, but you're clearing it across multiple lifetimes because there's big karma here. There's karma that you chose at a soul level to move through, to learn from, and to balance. You're learning to balance your energy with others. You're learning as well if you have those, again, unconscious patterns of codependence, where you're always looking for a relationship or always wanting someone else to support you. Because Pluto is where you can be giving away your power. You're like, oh, this person is going to be the right fit for me because they're this, this, and this, and they have this much money, or they do this in the world, and you buy in to someone else's energy, or you buy in to thinking they're going to rescue you, they're going to be the person who is exactly what you're looking for, because you're basically transferring your power onto them. It's a projection, and it's something that is being mirrored back to you, where this isn't the truth, where the truth is you want to be in your sense of self-love, self-acceptance. And that is where you will then change your energy permanently, change it permanently, and then start to experience this whole new level of relationships. Now, the father could be a strong catalyst for you in your life. And that could be that the father showed you unhealthy relationship patterns, or showed you and taught you more about what good relationship dynamics look like. However this is for you, that conjunction to Pluto is about your soul's growth, and it is related to karma, so doing it differently. This is a lifetime where you are learning to do relationships differently. And it takes work, it takes effort, it takes maturity with that Saturn. It takes the therapy, the counseling, understanding your patterns, understanding what doesn't work for you, but to stay in your power, because that Libra energy, not only can it be codependence and projection in its lower expressions, but that Libra energy can also be like not seeing its own identity, not seeing its own choices, where you could be like, oh, well, this person chose this and that's why I did that. And it's again that theme of giving your power away, or thinking that someone else has more power, or that there's something around the energy between the two of you where you've submerged yourself. You made yourself smaller and you didn't know it. You didn't know it. So again, big relationship themes here throughout your life, until something is mastered and understood. Now, your first Saturn return between 28 and 30 would have been a big deal in these themes, as that Saturn came back to its natal position and also made a conjunction to Pluto. So between 28 and 30 years of age, everyone has a maturity energy that they must deal with. And this can be through your career, through getting married, through buying a house, through having kids. Something about the real world comes knocking. You make bigger choices, you put yourself on a new path, or you commit to a part of yourself, a part of your path. And so that Saturn return was really big. Again, it was working with Pluto, so it could have been significantly transformative and showed you something in your life that was complete or over. And the Pluto energy is about a death, a permanent ending, because the energy within you has shifted. So your Saturn return would have been very significant. It could have been the ending of a very intense relationship, for example. It could have been something happened in your life that permanently changed you, permanently changed your perceptions of relationships, what you want, what you need. So this is going to be an ongoing dynamic in your life of how you share energy and how you do so in a way that's healthy. Now, again, you want to go check your natal Venus for what she needs, because Venus rules Libra. So this Venus, her energy is important. It helps you hone in on more of what you're looking for in relationships. That's not only about those love languages, the 5 love languages, but also about your attachment style. And that's because of how this Pluto is obsessive, addicted. It can really cling on, and it can look for other ways to assert power in relationships that's not healthy. One example is that there are times when someone will get pregnant in order to keep the relationship or to keep a connection to a relationship. And that would be one example of the unconscious power dynamics. Another example could be how there can be trauma bonding with another being, where you're both hooked into that loop of trauma. You're both reconnecting to each other obsessively because you're afraid of the other parts of yourself that you don't want to look at. It's sort of like coming back and circling around in relationships that are unhealthy so that you aren't rejected or you aren't abandoned or you don't have to go it alone, because this Libra energy, it's very intense for you, and you might be afraid to do something on your own. So this is where you, again, look at more of your chart and would look at what other energies are present, because you could have strong independence energies as well, where you're perfectly fine doing something on your own, but then these relationships come in. It's like they suck you in, and there's something deeper happening under the surface. And with Pluto being so dominant here, you're meant to go in to the psyche of yourself. This can also be through past life regressions, Akashic records, really deep energy work where you go into the deeper stories of someone that you're addicted to or obsessed with, or someone you can't let go of, because it can seem all-consuming. You can be like, why can't I step away from this person? Or why can't this shift and change? Well, it comes back to you. It is not about the other person at all. And that can be a hard reality check when you're looking at the other person and everything they're doing wrong or everything they've done to hurt you. And it triggers your own victim consciousness that you're not aware of. But this is a lifetime where you're learning to do relationships completely different. And the visual I'm getting is that, so if you start with your birth, right, when you were born in the early 1980s, I feel like the timeline is that by the time, especially later on in your life, you're going to have such different relationships all around you that you're not even going to recognize some of these parts of yourself at all. And that could already be the case depending on how you moved through your first Saturn return. But this is a lifelong area of growth because you're permanently changing relationship dynamics across all lifetimes. And you're looking at, what does it mean to share, to receive, to be open, to have trust in a relationship, to feel like it's okay to be all of myself and I don't have to be a certain way or expect someone to be a certain way. So it's a very deep energy, and chances are, again, it's mirrored back to you, where the relationships that you've been in, there's been an energy thread or a cord of energy that's the same between you and that other person. So you maybe have had a lot of projecting or mirroring that could be beneficial to go back and look at, but with the understanding that you're here to change it. You're here to change it. So that Venus is telling you more about what you need to feel loved, to feel valued, to feel worthy. And that's the energy that you first give yourself, that you focus on developing and growing in yourself. And as you change that vibration of Venus in yourself, it will reverberate out and also affect this conjunction or these planets in Libra. Now, what you do have going for you is that throughout the last century, this Pluto has been nicely sextiling Neptune. And for you, Neptune is in Sagittarius. They're making a sextile. And this is the escapism, the release. It's in Sagittarius, which is the spiritual growth, the bigger purpose, the desire to learn. I want to learn from this. I don't want to repeat this. I know I can do something different going forward. I know there's a lot of gifts and areas of growth for me. So this brings in a sense of possibilities and potentials of what you're learning and how you're growing. Because this Neptune in Sag is the assist to not only Pluto, but also to Saturn. So you're learning a lot, and it feels like relationships are actually a big spiritual lesson for you. A spiritual growth is present in these dynamics, but it does require seeing yourself honestly and taking responsibility. And that's the Saturn in Libra, where you take responsibility for the people you have chosen. And we can do this at so many different levels of ourselves. And you know, I've been through this, where you look back on hindsight and you're like, what was I thinking? What was going on in my mind? I wasn't thinking. I wasn't even aware of something in this dynamic, because you can look back and be like, wow, that was messed up, or wow, that was not what I thought it was. But that's how you're growing. So you're growing through the hindsight. You're growing through that sense of, even as it's like a comparison, but I mean that in a sense of, this is who I was, but now this is who I am. So it's kind of like looking at your own trajectory and your own growth. Now, the Saturn returns are a big deal for you, and there will be another one in your late 50s where you may have an opportunity to really look at how far you've come. Now, in your early to mid 30s, and this happens for everyone, there is a Pluto square, where Pluto travels to, in this case it was Capricorn, and squares your natal Pluto. But for you, it also squared your natal Saturn at some point. And so that Pluto energy is significant in life changes. So this can vary for everyone, but again, early to mid 30s. So let's say 32 to 36. It could be 37. But you get the idea. This is where you're making some big life changes, some big choices, where a part of your life is ending. It's dying. It's complete. You're done with something so that you can move on and move forward. The Pluto energy can create a struggle, a sense of power dynamics, a sense of, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I can. But this could have been, say, an important breakup. This could have been a new life choice where you moved to a different place, or you started a new career, or something shifted within you at a very deep level of your being, where a lot of what you've created in your life no longer resonates. So that Pluto square happens to everyone. Now, also in 2019 and in 2020, Saturn was also in Capricorn and squared these points as well. So a double whammy. You've had a big ride. You've probably wanted to start something and it didn't get off the ground. Because these are cardinal signs. Libra is a cardinal sign. Capricorn is a cardinal sign. It's like, I thought this was it. I thought this was my life direction. I thought this is where I was going. And it could have been a crash and burn. It could have been, it fell through. It didn't really have the long-term security, connection, or path that you thought it would, because of that strong Capricorn energy, 2019 and 2020. So that was showing you something more about your mastery, about your power, about your areas of growth. Again, how you're interacting with others, with the world at large. Based on the energy and effort you put into this area of relationships, you have the potential to be a master at this. You have the potential to really see things, to really see what is correct for you and what's not, to be very decisive, to really trust yourself. Like there's going to be some real positive payoffs for this. So I want to give you reassurance and hope if relationships have just been horrible and hard and damaging and hurtful and all the things. If relationships have been all the things, this is a lifetime where you knew you could handle these energies as they came up because you were ready to transform it and to take responsibility as well as understand your power in the dynamics. This is also the energy of not doing it all. If you've had to hold relationships up on your shoulders, drop them. That's not how it's supposed to be. That's not the dynamic. So again, you look at your own patterns here. Well, what does it mean when someone shows up for me? Someone supports me. And do you allow them to? Because again, the Pluto can be trauma. The Saturn can be really big boundaries to the point that nobody gets in. Like nobody can touch you. I will do this. I don't want people to assist. I don't want people around me. I don't want to get hurt. I don't trust people, etc., etc. So depending on how you do relationships, it's like you could also have a sense of, I don't want any relationships. People are not trustworthy or whatever your messaging is to yourself. But you have to take responsibility for that because that is not necessarily true unless you claim it as your truth. So what is your truth in relationships? That's what you're learning in this lifetime. And it's been tough. It's been very tough. I'm going to exhale with you. It's been tough because you're here to transform it. You're transforming it. That's what Pluto does. You're transforming it permanently, and it sets you on this new trajectory along different lifetimes ahead, different pathways, and different energy dynamics. Now, we do have Saturn in Aquarius, 2021 to 2023. And Saturn in Aquarius is helping you to stabilize this energy. And it depends where, what degree this is at for you, what degree your Saturn is at, what degree Pluto's at. Saturn might not start trining until 2022, but it's giving you some new ways to use the energy, to apply what you've learned, to do relationships differently. And chances are you're going to attract somebody completely different into your world or across all areas of your life. That could even be the new friendships, the new colleagues, the new coworkers, or just not even if they're new, but you're new. There's something stabilizing within you to do it differently and to learn from what you've been through. So this is a very intense energy. Remember, you do have this help from Neptune and Sag, which wants you to look at the bigger picture, to detach your ego, to see where you're growing, to see what matters to you, to stay inspired. And remember to also understand more about your Venus, because she is also teaching you what you need, what love feels like, what it means to be in harmony, in balance, and in a true connection with others. So I hope this has been beneficial and provided some insights for you into these energies. Thank you so much for joining me. It is a joy to connect with you through the world of astrology. Be sure and check out my playlists here on YouTube where I have more teaching videos. And I also have my podcast every Monday and Wednesday. Thank you for your comments, your likes, subscribes, and shares. And I'll be back here soon with another astrology video.